Okay, this is going to be the highlights of the top 5 greedy characters. If you want more on Twitch, then please check the link in the description below or twitch.tv/rangerswamp. And that's going to be it. Hope you all enjoy the video.
We are moving on, folks, to our top 5 greedy characters.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Here we are with the what would this iteration of for the greedy characters? What would this one be? Ranger Stingy.
Ooh.
So Ranger Stingy here. For me, and this is why I drew this overlay. For me, it's always about characters who either want power, food, or some item, or money. It's always about those things when I think of greedy characters, and that's sort of what I went with as far as my theme, to give you guys a hint. Out there. So you guys get your honorable mentions. If you don't have an honorable mention, that's fine. But I'm going to start with my honorable mention. Most of you know her. You love to hate her. She went to the chocolate factory because her dad bought all the chocolate around. Her name is Veruca Salt. Cute. All right. What's your honorable mention, Ranger Swamp?
My honorable mention is a group of individuals, and I'm going to tell you their story. They are known as the Foretellers.
Anyways, I'm going to say my number 5. Again, piggybacking off of what Lady Jinx says. Little on the nose, but I am picking Larfleeze from the Orange Lantern Corps. Obviously, everyone knows orange is the color of greed. If I was aware of that, this whole overlay would have been orange. I apologize. I was thinking of more people being greedy over money, and that's why I chose green. Hindsight's 2020, you sons of bitches. But Larfleeze, he is the only Green Lantern, Orange Green Lantern, and again because he's greedy, avarice. I think he's a sexy looking fucking character. I like the symbol. I love that bright orange. I'm a favorite. I always like bright colors. Who's your number 5?
My number 5, you all know him decently well. He is King DDD, the former antagonist from the Kirby series. In Kirby's Dream Land, the very first Kirby game, King DDD was the main enemy because he was basically taking all the food in Dreamland for himself. Of course, Kirby beat him, and after that, King DDD slowly started changing his ways, where he became less greedy and actually had wanted to do better for the kingdom.
I'm going to go with my number 4, and then we'll go on to Bellatrix's number 4. Moving on. Cookie. My number 4 is Cookie Monster.
What?
And it's going to go along the same thought process as Bellatrix Winnie the Pooh. This motherfucker, bless you. You cannot put a cookie in front of this fucker without him just snatching it up and eating it. Moving on. It's you, Ranger Swamp. I think it's up to you now.
All right, number 4 for me is going to be Ling Yao from the Fullmetal Alchemist manga and Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. Ling Yao is the prince of a kingdom. I forgot what it's called. Basically, it's a neighboring country to Amestris, which is where Ed and Al are from. Yeah. So Ling comes to Amestris in season 2 of Brotherhood and a few chapters in the manga because he heard about the Philosopher's Stone. His kingdom's currently at war with another, and his people are currently suffering. So he figured if he could get a Philosopher's Stone, it would give him the power to basically bring peace to his kingdom. Yeah. And he was willing to do whatever it took to get it. He did not care how he obtained the power as long as he got it.
Yeah.
And it eventually got to a point where he not only tricked Ed and Al to helping him and basically ended up getting arrested because he scammed them for money. After he broke out of prison, he ended up working with them instead. And, they became friends for a short time.
Moving on to round number 3. Get your 3 picks in. I'm going to go ahead and announce mine. My number 3 is from the light novels, the isekai light novels that I've been reading. It is her name. She is a goddess. Her name is Melfina. From the it will eventually be an anime. The Black Summoner. This is a isekai reincarnation story. She's actually the goddess of reincarnation. What you see here is the artificial body in which she was summoned by the main protagonist, Kelvin Celsius. But one of her traits, though, is that she is greedy, a glutton for eating a bunch of foods. Like she can eat a whole restaurant in one sitting. That's how much she eats. That's how much she enjoys food. In the most recent book that I've read, she sat down and she was at a drinking contest, and not only did she win the contest, but she drank 2 barrels of wine. But with the 2 barrels of wine, she had plates upon plates of cheese and fish and food. All right, so what do you got, bud?
My number 3, he is from the land known as Sugar Rush, or at least that's what he expects you to believe. This is King Candy.
Whoa.
So, spoiler alert for Wreck-It Ralph, but as you all know, if you watch the movie, you find out King Candy's actually a racer known as Turbo. The reason why that's a big deal is because there's a whole term in Wreck-It Ralph you hear called Going Turbo. Going Turbo basically means where you, as a video game character, leave your arcade machine and invade someone else's when you're not supposed to.
Yeah.
And because of this, Turbo ended up getting both games shut down, his and the game he invaded, because he was jealous. And no one knew what happened to Turbo.
Yeah.
So what ended up happening was, it was revealed near the end of the movie that King Candy was actually Turbo the whole time. And basically, the rightful ruler of Sugar Rush, who was Princess Vanellope, he took the game from her, essentially. And he ripped out the cords that connected her to the game in its entire code.
Yeah.
And basically caused her to be basically a glitch, where she was just constantly glitching everywhere. She basically had a lag spike. And anytime she got too excited, she would start teleporting everywhere.
My number 2 pick is actually John Midas from the Chocolate Touch. It does rip from the storyline, or the story, or the mythology of King Midas, who everything he touches turned to gold. So basically, what happens with King Midas, he saves a satyr who is a follower of Dionysus. Or he doesn't save him, he forgives him. It goes to something along that line. The god Dionysus says, "Hey, King Midas, what do you want? I'll give you anything. What do you want?" And King Midas, being a greedy fuck, says, "Well, you know what? Everything I touch turns to gold." And the god even says, "Hey, are you sure? I don't think you want that. I don't think you want that, buddy. I don't think you want that, pal." Yeah. Let us know. I think you're gonna get a positive reaction on your next pick, Ranger Swamp. Let us know what your number 2 pick is, please.
Well, I thank you, because my number 2 pick is going to be Ernesto de la Cruz from the movie Coco. And this one, I'm gonna be honest, this is definitely one of the ones I had thought of first, because I'm just like, oh yeah. So, in the movie Coco, Ernesto de la Cruz is a famous musician. He had a very famous song that he was remembered for. Get it? And basically, it was just this song that was just so catchy. It had such emotion to it. And he died shortly after. Well, even in his death, he was still celebrated. He was constantly, he had a whole, like, not really a museum, but just a celebration just dedicated to him on the Day of the Dead. And Miguel, the main character, ends up going to this other land in the world of the dead, just to because he wanted to get his grandfather, great-great-grandfather's blessing to become a musician. But he thought Ernesto de la Cruz was his great-great-grandfather. So he finally meets Ernesto de la Cruz with the help of this man named Hector, who is seemingly almost forgotten.
Yeah.
And, of course, Ernesto de la Cruz just sees him. He hears that that's his great-great-grandson, and he immediately believes it.
All right. And my number one is The Boy from The Giving Tree. The Giving Tree was written by Shel Silverstein, who has amazing poems. What's your number one, Ranger Swamp?
My number one, Mr. Eugene Krabs.
Yep.
Where do I begin? Mr. Krabs has been described of being greedy in many different ways, and part of that does come from the fact that his father was actually a pirate. He was poor as a child, and just many different factors played into Mr. Krabs being the way he was.
Yeah.
That still doesn't excuse his actions. For example, do you know how much SpongeBob has to pay to work at the Krusty Krab? Mind you, not getting paid, he has to pay $10 an hour. And just like that, that's the end of the video. Hope you enjoyed. Please leave a like below. And that's about it. See you all on the next one.